Hello, this is Lindsay from the Vintage Button. I know I've not been around for a while, but my recovery from COVID has its ups and its downs. Not going to say much more than that. I'm going to try to carry on, but I suspect I'm not going to manage daily for a few weeks. But hopefully, because I've got some really good ideas, we will get back up to it. Committed myself to doing a bit of craft every day though. I just probably won't put the camera on because it just takes a little bit of extra energy that sometimes I don't have like talking energy. Okay, so today's flip through is my last year's November journal, and there's some bits about this journal that I really love. As usual, it's not complete because I don't tend to finish things off. I like to start things, but yeah, it's not fully complete. But I like it from start to finish. It's a book that I gutted and I put 2 signatures in, and it's actually quite a modern book. I think it's a book from the 1980s, but I really love the blue. And this image here is from a flower arranging book from the 70s, and it's on this lovely matte paper. So I was able to get in there with my white gel marker and just sort of highlight it, and it was a lovely autumnal flower arrangement. I've got little bits of Edith Holden, and there's some Edith Holden in this book, and there's more flower fairies and some Tracy labels, and this is a lovely piece of felt, not felt, velvet even, kind of ribbon. I suspect that's on because I was fixing some damage. It looks like I was fixing some damage or something just to make things look neater. But yeah, I really like it. It's a bit untidy and a bit messy here, so if I ever get around to it I might put a pocket on that just to cover that up. So we have the mushrooms that I've been using, the same napkins, because I have a packet of them, so they're just going to get used until they're used, and perhaps something else will come along. So I've got the mushrooms that are on card this time, not backed onto book page, and then this is all metallic watercolour. And this is just some of the bits and pieces that I've got left over. I've just sort of put them in the front page. But I just quite like the simplicity of those 3 mushrooms and the watercolour. It gets more complex as we go in. So here we are, we've got this Edith Holden song thrush and some vintage music paper. The stamps that are heavily used are IOD, and they were like IOD's last year's Christmas wreath stamp or winter wreath. I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but it is a beautiful stamp set. It's meant to be used on furniture, but I think it lends itself to junk journaling because they're big pieces, and you'd be able to do an entire spread with them. And you'll see as we go along because I've used quite a few, and they're really good if you can't draw. And I'm not the best drawer. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy making pretty marks, but I'm not an accomplished artist in that sense. Excuse me while I have a sip of tea. So I've got a little bit of the wordage from the Edith Holden books, which is just some beautiful little notes and sayings and observations that I think, that's probably why she's so popular, because the images are beautiful, but also the words are beautiful as well, the entire thing. So we have that. Got a bit of a blank. So this banner was made by, if you see on this page, I have folded up the book page, because the book pages are actually made from a 1960s gardening book that I found out in the wild in one of the free libraries. At the bottom, nobody was going to pick it up. It had lots of chemicals and, practices that we wouldn't consider to be anywhere near a good practice, and perhaps some of them might have illegal chemicals in them. But it was a nice, thick, chunky book, and it holds paint really well, and it makes junk journal pages. And there was about 800 pages in it, so there we go. So that's our Edith Holden, and this is just that fold, but at the top, and I've trimmed it along the top to make this banner. Bit of writing. I think nearly 2 weeks into my new job. This is the job that I do now. And it's strange that because I'm not feeling great, I went into my office today and my manager said, we've got like an all service type meeting, and she says, why don't you just keep at home and start on your e-learning, you know, like, because you have to repeat courses every year. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm really grateful for that. So yeah. So this is a really nice spread, I think. Well, I like it, and I remember particularly enjoying doing it. So this is an image that's come from a magazine, and I think it was like a card magazine, and I've just cut the elements out, and this wordage was also on a demonstration of a card, and I've just sort of cut them out and put them together about finding your joy. And it got me thinking about the joy of creativity, because I think creativity outside of my loved ones is my next great source of joy, is exploring my creativity, exploring other people's creativity, having that, you know, like kind of spark of imagination and creativity. That really brings me joy. So these are the new IOD stamps again, different ones, and even when they don't stamp out perfectly, they're just so beautiful and very, very versatile. I've highlighted bits with markers, with white markers, and this was the beginning of me using markers really. I would probably go in with some Posca pens if I did this again, which I probably will do this again. So here we are, we've got another spread, which is like a double pocket spread. If I take the elements out, you can see how I use the stamps. But I think, because I also have a lot of stamps that I've got free off the front of magazines, and I think you could probably make this up with lots of different flower stamps, just thinking about it creatively to make that sort of flow. And then I just went in there with my paints and played with my paints. I like how I've done the flowers, and then I went in after with a white marker. Like I said, I would probably go in with my Posca pens now. So I've got a lovely little flower fairy there. I don't know how I came about her. And I've got this postcard. I think I might just leave that like that actually. Should we put the beautiful writing behind the flower fairy? There we go. And that was just just for fun and experimenting with the stamps really. Here we are with one of our flower fairy pages. We've got 3 beautiful flower fairies. The background, there's the book page, and then I have either PVA'd or matte medium gelled a napkin that was pansies, kind of, because you get pansies in the autumn. You kind of get winter pansies. And then I've layered on the top from the book that I talked about in last week's journal flip through. So last week's journal flip through was made like a couple of years ago, and this is like a good few months, and I've still got elements of this book left. There was just so many. It was such a boon to find it, just to create these beautiful elements really. So here we are, and I think, like, when I was looking at this, what I've written is you can still move forward even if you glance back. So I was starting this new job and was really looking forward to it, but you know, I had mixed feelings about leaving my old job for lots of reasons. And I've put, and on I go, because this little boy's pointing onwards. It's a nice page. Another simple page using those stamps. So this is like a poinsettia, whereas the other one was like more like a rose. And I've just sort of begin to have a little dabble, but I didn't quite finish that off, but I think that's all right. I'm just using the paint in between. I can see where I was going with it. You can see I've done a little repair here, because I think, you know, that's absolutely fine to do as well. So point of junk journals, they're sort of cobbled together. You can still do it really well and really nicely, but I think a visible repair is not a bad thing. Oh, now, so this is Edith Holden's mushrooms, which I think is beautiful, and I have this silk, and I got this silk, I've used it in lots of my journals, and I've got this silk from a place up north called Cedar Farm that had and I don't know if it's still there. I think I asked my mum was it still there, and she said it was. It has like silk scarves and things, and these are just the offcuts. And I was also mixed in like really old kimono snippets, and it was just a big bag for £5, and I happily would pay that, just because it was literally January 2020 and I'm still using it. So it was kind of before the world went wrong, and I'm still using this. I've got a pretty jar. I think it's gone back onto my haberdashery shelves, just full of these. Some more of the Edith Holden toadstools, and also one that's been used from a napkin, and more of that beautiful silk snippets. And I've got a stamped image onto a book page. I think I've talked about doing this before as well, that you can like cut out, let's see if I can find, you can cut out a label. This is the current junk journal. Let's see, can I find it? Probably, oh, this is a perfect example. So this bit here, you can cut it out and then you have a frame, and you can lay it on the top of another book image, or it might be, you know, you could lay it on top of this so it would show the sort of illuminated text, or an image of something else, or make them into like, you know, specimen slides. That these types of stamps are they're really worth investing in, because they're greater than the sum of their parts. You know, like they become something that's really, really good and useful. So I've got images from magazines here that I've not, you know, other than just cutting it out, I haven't processed it. I think I was probably thinking of making a journaling card, probably by like adding things onto it to sort of build it up from that way, and sort of backing it onto a bit of cereal box or something, and then a nice pretty paper behind. And I've got some old music paper. This is the napkin that I've stuck, I don't know if that's gonna, I've stuck the images onto card or book page, and that's how we've collected all these elements. And you can see there's loads of different things. And this is so if you're in the UK, this was one of the Tesco ordinary napkins, like £1.50 napkins. You got 20 for £1.50. They were last year's, so I don't know. Sometimes they repeat them, like the butterfly ones that I just, every time I go there, I think, oh, I'll get another packet of those butterfly ones. And there's a beautiful bird set that I just keep getting because they're so useful. Yeah, you could just get them infinitum, really. Hopefully the Christmas stuff will be out soon. Looking forward to that. So I've got another image from a different magazine that was put in there, and that's another napkin that would be useful too. Some empty pages. Like I've said this before, not all my journals are finished. I kind of start things and then I run out of steam, or I move on to something else, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, they can go, and I do have like some things that are sort of in my UFO pile. So that is like, you know, things I want to work on again. Like I have this one that I find it hard to, especially with the way I've got the camera set up. I think we will work on this one because I quite like it. Where I just sort of don't quite finish it, so I need to work on it until I think it's finished. Whereas this one, I did consider actually spending some time on it in November, and we might do if I get time and space, but I don't know. I might not either. I might, in 5 years' time, I might get it out and think, oh, I have these pages, what can I do with them? So this is a starling. I've done the same thing. I have a stamp on a book page that I've cut out and use it as a frame, and framed out some of the wordage from the Edith Holden book to make a label. This is, I don't know where I got them from, but they're like Reader's Digest guarantees for, I don't know if it was for books, like book sets, or for records. But I got a handful of them from somewhere, and I just sort of snipped out all the writing to sort of make this beautiful ornate frame, to sort of frame out the song thrush. It kind of looks like it should have always been there, really. I've got more bits and pieces that I've worked out I would like to have in this journal. There's bits in things from magazines and printables, all kinds of stuff in this little bag for if I should want to do this again, to bring some cohesiveness. Those IOD stamps. I could, now if you have, and this is where I think about like journaling in your book, I could get sort of a red Posca marker or a navy blue Posca marker or a brown one, and I could write in here and you still would be able to see it, and it is a useful journaling space. Just another page, I think that I probably started, didn't quite finish. This is where you can see there's some leaking through of the stamps, so you have to be careful about the stamps and how you use them. This again is one of those IOD stamps where I've sort of just started to block out the colour and not fully developed it, but they're just so beautiful. I do have a piece of furniture in my hallway. I have a tiny little like entrance hallway in my house. And it's only like big enough for the door to open and close. It's we call it the porch because it's like a little, and it is what a porch is in the UK. It's like a little extension to the house, and there is a nice console table in there that needs another paint job because its paint job's about 10 years old. So I have been thinking, do I get those stamps out and stamp with paint? They will hold up to paint. So we've got type of bird here that I've not finished. This is a green woodpecker, so again I would probably, you know, I could use that ticket, and I might keep this around the craft room instead of handing it back. This is more of those little tags, and there we are, we're at the end. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this this journal is, if you saw last week's flip through, let's go back through, and I was thinking particularly about the little boys, and I kept this one up deliberately so that we could sort of see the difference from how I've changed and developed. But actually I probably still would make a journal in this sort of way. It just depends on what you feel. This is going to sound strange. What you feel the paper's dictating, really. How you think that this book wants to be filled. That sounds really kooky. And it's probably my interpretation of that, but it's just, that's how I felt that this book was very light. Even though it's got a dark cover, it was a very light and airy book, and that's why I haven't done much paint in the background. Because if you'd have looked at a Junk Journal July journal, which would have been not that long before this, like, I've always added lots of paint and stuff to Junk Journal July journals. But then you sort of, you know, you try different things. So yeah, so that's a one Flower Fairy journal. This is another. I have a Flower Fairy book that I haven't really properly harvested from, and I still have more of these big Flower Fairies that I think I will use. You know, I don't know if I'll use them this autumn or I might save them for another year. They're just hung up with my resources on one of my shelves, and they will get used. They might be put into swaps, I don't know. But they are very beautiful and I do enjoy them. So that's my flip through for today for another Flower Fairy journal. Well, Flower Fairy and Edith Holden, that was from last November. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've managed to get to the end, thank you very much. I'd ask that you like and subscribe to the channel. So subscribe to the channel and like and subscribe to this video. We have a giveaway now, unsurprisingly, because I've, you know, great plans and everything, and then COVID has completely knocked things up. You can hear it in my voice. Yeah, I'm kind of not quite right. I haven't finished off the advent calendar, but I will. There is still time. I have to keep telling myself. I like to be really ahead of myself, but there is still time, and I know that I can focus this weekend. I don't have any family in the house. It's literally me and the cat, and certainly this one will be finished, and the other 5 will be finished. Whether I sell them on Etsy or whether I sell them privately through PayPal, I have yet to think through, because the Etsy stuff is a whole nother ball game and it's new to me, so I don't know. I would love to use them to launch an Etsy shop, but I don't know if that's going to work out this year. And I'm just trying to manage expectation and manage my own ability, and sort of knowing, I was kind of like thinking, and I need to not bite off more than I can chew, so that I don't disappoint, and things are priority. So this one's a priority, and then a swap's a priority because I've committed to that. And the junk journal, the like the big ones are like 90% there. They're nearly finished. They just need the numbers being put on and some of the presents to be firmly stuck. I think in only one of them. So that's nearly finished. It's just the sort of photographing and faffing with the wordage and working out the postage for various places and stuff like that, that I have to see if I can get my head around it. I think I have this weekend and then perhaps the following weekend, and if I can't do it, or by the following weekend, have a decision to offer them just through the channel, using PayPal. I don't know how we sort of make guarantees about things, but we'll work that out. We'll work it out. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to do my mental health good, and it is. I just want to sort of like be able to do it well, considering my health, really, and not sort of like half kill myself just so that I get things done, which is something that I do. I'm going to put this in with that bird because I think that would work really well for that wordage. It would. I'm going to put that there because that would be helpful. All right then, lovelies. I hope you have a good evening. I'm sorry if I've not even answered on comments. I had so many clients because I'm trying to play catch up at work, and I've even had to take I spoke to my manager today, and there are some things I'm going to do and some things I'm not going to do, to put the brakes on. I have a fantastic manager. I work for a fantastic organisation, and sort of not half kill myself like I did last Friday was hardcore, and I ended up sleeping all day and all night Saturday. And then on Sunday, I have to do some sort of recovery on my house because, you know, it looks like nobody lives here, but somebody's just burgled. Yeah. Well, in my standard anyway. It's probably actually not that bad. There's just some washing that needs folding up and put away. But, you know. All right, then. I will talk to you, hopefully, in the next couple of days. We'll have to see how I'm working from home tomorrow, so I'm hoping that I'm not paying too high of a price for what I've done today, because I was in my Cambridge office and it did my mental health a lot of good to be with the other girls and be stimulated and talk about work and just catch up, because I haven't seen some of them for a long time because I've been ill. But I don't know how it has taken a toll on me, so I'm going to aim to be in bed quite early tonight and just see how things go. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Please let me know how you are, what you're doing. You know, see you in the chats. All right then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.